All right. So clearly, we're going to be grading all of our applications digitally this year. We're not going to physically be meeting with each other. The original plan that we had come up with, we took all of the grading rubrics and converted them into fillable PDFs, which would have worked. The difficulty of that would have been for each PDF that you did, you would have had to email that back to me, and I would have had to take all of those individual PDFs for each kid, for each application per judge, and get that total score and hand enter it into an Excel sheet. That would have taken a long time, and I know that there would have been mathematical errors on my part had we done that. So we're going to use Google Forms instead. Can everyone see my screen? Can someone tell me if you can see it?
Yeah, you're good.
All right. So just as a quick refresher for everyone, if you're going to be judging, the way that the process will work after today is over, as applications are coming in, I'm sorting them into individual folders by award area, by chapter. For the teachers that are going to be on each individual grading committee, once all of the applications are sorted, I'm going to share those folders with you. I'm going to attempt to share it from my Ag Center Outlook account. It's probably going to send you an email and you'll have to request access to it. That's fine. And then you should be able to open it. If for some reason you're not able to open it, we'll figure out another way of getting them to you. But right now, that's where all of those applications are going. So once I have that set and I've got the committee set after today, once we figure out how many applications we're going to have, I'll send out the list of which applications you're going to be judging. I'll send you the folder that's going to contain the digital copies of the applications. It's just going to be, for most of them, it's going to be PDF applications. For some of them, like livestock exhibition, some of them may be in Word format, but most of them will be PDF. We'll give you a week. I would really like if you can get it in from the time we send it to you, get it back within 7 days. So that we can start compiling the list of 4 finalists and figure out who the winners are. Remember, we're not doing any interviews this year, so the winners are going to be based strictly on the score from the applications. So you'll get a week. You'll use the Google form to put your scores in for each application. You'll submit a Google form for each application that you grade, and it's going to automatically compile it into an Excel spreadsheet for me, so that we don't have to hand enter anything. A couple of things I would share with you. If you have questions as you're grading about rules, regulations as it regards applications, if you go to the association page of the website and go to awards and degrees, the handbook is always going to be what we go back to if we have any questions on any award application. So I would download the handbook and have it handy based on the particular area that you're going to be grading. A couple of things that I pulled out that I know we get questions about every year. Remember, signatures are not needed for any application. Don't disqualify an application because there's no signatures on it. One, it would have been virtually impossible this year because of the situation with the ones that required physical signatures. But two, with the electronic signature, that's for national FFA purposes. We had voted a while back that we were not going to require signatures anymore. So no disqualifications for lack of signatures. Again, for the STAR Awards, they must have these 3 letters of recommendation, the SAE agreement, and the 2020 version of the state degree. If they don't have a current version of the state degree in the folder, they're going to get disqualified because that's a big chunk of the grading rubric is based on the student state degree application. So make sure you look for those things when you score it. We already talked in the call about 9th grade members. If they apply for the proficiency award, it's going to show errors on the application, but just look, if it just shows that they've got 1 year completed, that's why. You can still score it, but they cannot win first place. So take that into account whenever you're scoring the application. And if you put your numbers together and a 9th grader ends up winning, we're just going to look at the spreadsheet, and whoever was second place, if they qualify, they're going to be made the winner. If they choose to. That's also in our handbook. Every year we get questions about which grading rubric to use because of the combined categories. You only use the combined proficiency award rubric if the student indicates a combination of entrepreneurship and placement on the application. So when they fill out the application, there's the slider. They select which percentage of the application is entrepreneurship, which percentage is placement. If they have a combined application, that's when you use the combined rubric. If the application is 100% entrepreneurship, you use the entrepreneurship rubric. If it's 100% placement, you use the placement rubric. You should never have a situation where a student earns more or could earn more than 100 points on any application. 100 points is the maximum. So just be aware of that. For those applications that are a combination of placement and entrepreneurship, you only use the combined rubric if they have both types of SAE in their application.
Mr. LeJeune.
Yes, sir.
Do you have your chat bar open?
I can. Hold on.
Okay. Question, a clarification.
Hold on.
Did we figure out how to do a hand raise in this app yet?
Team still doesn't have the hand raise function. They were supposed to add it in April and they haven't done it yet. Ms. Corder, the SAE agreement, you can pull it off of AET, and someone on here who's done one already, you may be able to help me. It's been a long time since I've done one, but there is a function in AET where you can, it's basically a pre-made agreement that you just fill in. Someone who uses AET, can you help me out and explain to Ms. Corder where you can find that? I could find it, Krista. I'll have to go dig on AET to show you where it is. If you want to stick on the call, Krista, when we're done, I can pull it up and we can look for it together. If wants to look for the SA agreement, we can. I know that you can do it on AET. I've seen some come in with the applications that they had it on the pre-made version of it. Moving on, for state degrees, we already talked about the 5 activities above the chapter level. They need to be specific, just like with community service. A couple of things that would disqualify an application. If there is any plagiarism in the application, it's going to be disqualified. If you're reading an application, it sounds like it's been copied from a graduate student's thesis, or if it's obvious that this is being copied from something that a student wouldn't write, you can Google search it, and if it comes up as a direct match to something else, it's plagiarism. If that goes on to National FFA, it'll get disqualified. So let's catch them on the state level before that happens. For any of you, if you have had a student who takes a siblings proficiency award, or if you know of someone who does that, if they take a siblings proficiency award and they just change a few things on it, all of those applications get run through a plagiarism checker on the national level. And we've had some from our state have been disqualified because of that. So make sure they are not replicating anything that a previous student has done before just by changing dates and names and that sort of thing. That doesn't fly anymore, especially if you win the state level. And if we win on the state level, we don't want to send forward an application that's going to get disqualified. So make sure you check for that as you're grading them. And if you're going to be turning some in, make sure you check. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I said, well, did get caught as a state with that last year, and there's no way for us to check that as a state. So it's really at the teacher level. You know, nationals will catch that, and it will look as if me and Mr. LeJeune submitted a plagiarized application. So we really want you guys to handle that at your own local level. Don't rerun an application and change a few things, put somebody else's pictures and name in there, because we can't catch that. We don't have the technology to run it through, but they will. So really urge you not to put yourself up for that sort of disqualification. Kate, I think you might be muted.
Hey, Dr. Smith, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I thought we lost you there for a second.
This is twice it's happened to me today. I don't know what's going on.
I'm
anyway,
sorry to break up your momentum, but I thought maybe maybe I'd run you off or something.
No, that's okay.
That was embarrassing to me to get caught last year with that.
Yeah, we don't want to do that. That also includes photos. As I was saying before, my internet crapped out on me. We had a situation a couple of years ago where a student used a stock photo from Google and it had a watermark on the picture, and we let it through our state judging. No one caught it. That's immediately going to get disqualified. That's plagiarism. So words can't be plagiarized, photos can't be plagiarized. It all has to be original to the student's application. So as you're going through, if you see something like that, please let us know so we can stop it before any of it moves on to the national level. Award applications have to have matching version numbers on all pages except the cover page and the signature page, because on the national level, they won't score it if that happens. The reason why is because when you have a non-matching version number, it means that you could have pieced together the application in multiple parts rather than as one continuous application. Now, this should not be a problem this year since we're submitting all of these digitally. You should just be generating them straight off of AET and just submitting it as one file. But look for those matching version numbers at the bottom. Something that goes into effect this year, which it was proposed by a teacher and the executive board approved it to add to the application handbook. Any award that's missing 25% or more of the total points based on the rubric, which means that the information is just not there. The student left it blank. They didn't even attempt to answer it. If that blank information amounts to 25% or more, which on proficiency award is 25 points, the application is disqualified. We're not even going to give it the opportunity of winning a 4th place banner if the student didn't even complete the entire application. If they have information there and they just get scored low, that's fine. But if the whole thing is just blank, if it's just not present at all, if they're missing entire pieces of the award application and it amounts to more than 25%, disqualify it. Just send me a note that it's not going to be counted. For anyone who's judging livestock exhibition this year, the committee that met at state convention last summer put into place species-specific top chapter awards. So when you're grading those, and I've already talked to most of the livestock people, in addition to doing gold, silver, bronze in the top 4, we also need a top chapter in each of the specific species. So be looking for those as those applications come in. And then the National Chapter Award, we're shipping that out of state to some out-of-state ag teachers. I've recruited some from Texas, Minnesota, and North Carolina who are going to grade those for us this year. I wanted to show you what the rubrics will look like. I told you we were going to go to Google Forms with it. I'll click on it and let you see what it looks like. I will send you the links just like this whenever I send you the folder, so you just have to go back and click on it. So for example, here's an agri-science research scoring rubric. It's the same rubric that you would have used on the PDF, except now it's in a vertical linear form. The required parts, you'll have to fill them in order to submit it. All of the same questions are there. So it's telling you which section, which part of the application does it refer to, and then you're just going to select your score. And you'll just go down the entire application. You should follow it. It should go from first page to the last page. Just following along with the application, you'll put your score in. For a couple of them, Google Forms doesn't allow me to put a number larger than 10 on the linear scale. So on a few of them, you'll have to manually hand enter, like on the skills, competencies, and knowledge. You'll have to hand enter your score for that one, but it's not going to let you go more. So it's 0 to 26. You can't put 27. If you put 27, it'll tell you that it's an error. You'll have to put the number correct. So you'll scroll all the way down. You'll add each one, put your scores in. Whenever you're done, here at the bottom, I left you a spot. Every year we say, can we give comments? Yes, we would love to give comments to students for improving the application. So if you have any comments on the application, go ahead and type it there. This box is not required, but if you have any. And then when you click submit, you're done with that application. So make sure before you click submit that you're completely finished with it, that that's how you want it to go. I'll send you the PDF copy of the rubric also, because it's a little more in depth than some of the descriptions, especially for the midpoints if you want to refer to it. But these Google Forms are what we're going to use to collect your scores on all of the applications. They all look the same. It's the same format as this one. We have one for each of the 4 proficiency types, and we have one for each of the 4 star award types. That's really all I've got. I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible. Does anyone have any questions before we let you go?
I got one more in the chat bar.
Let's see. What will we be doing for applications we feel need to be disqualified? For those, I would go ahead and flag them. Your judging group whoever's in your little judging group would need to come together and discuss that, whether or not you feel it warrants a disqualification. We've had a committee in years past that take all of the disqualified applications so that we get a second set of eyes to look at them also. So if you feel there's an application that has to be disqualified, visit with whoever else is in your judging committee. Y'all come up with a decision on it, forward it on to me, and then we'll get another set of teachers to look at it also. We want to finish the judging within a week. We're not going to rush this though, because I know that being distance online, there's probably going to be technology issues, that sort of thing. So take your time with it, do a good job on it. Our plan right now is that we're going to announce the winners by June 15th. We're going to announce that before state convention. I know we've never done that before, but that's because the deadline to submit these to National FFA is August 1st. So we want to make sure that the state winners still have enough time to correct their applications and make improvements before we have to submit them. So we're going to do some big social media ceremony to recognize our state proficiency winners. And then, of course, they'll get their banners at state convention. Yeah, if you're looking in the chat, Mr. Alamo said where you can find the SAE agreement on AET. Ms. Manuel says National Chapter's going through plagiarism scanner this year too. Yep, National FFA is using that thing for basically any written document that you submit to them now, whether it's proficiencies, National Chapter, LDE speeches, all of it. They check all of it for plagiarism. Does anyone else have questions? All right, y'all be on the lookout for an email probably tomorrow. Once I get all the applications sorted, I'll send a link to this video also if you want to go back and use it as a reference. If anyone has questions as we go, feel free to reach out. Let me know. If any of you know of any other teachers who would be willing to help grade, please have them contact me so I can add them to the list. I don't want any of you scoring 25 of them. That's going to take a long time. And I know we'll have other teachers who will help. They just may not be aware that we were looking for volunteers. So have them reach out to me and we'll get them put on the list. Dr. Smith, do you have any questions?
This document you just used, would it be of value to make available?
Yeah, I'm going to send that out too. I'm going to put it into a shareable document. I'm going to send it out to all the teachers whenever I send them their specific committee stuff to grade.
That sounds good.
All right. That's all I've got. If y'all have any questions, feel free to reach out.